All right, Merry Christmas Eve, everybody. Joe Ferrari, Brandon Graham, Rob DeSona, Igor Henriquez here for you guys. NFL Week 16, and we have some Christmas Day games which we're going to get to. But first, we're going to recap last week's picks. So I guess I'll start off with mine. I had New Orleans, Indy, and that Indy game. I guess most of you guys saw it. Igor was here for the end of it. Hell of a game. Jonathan Taylor ended up running off that last one to kind of seal it off. Carolina continues to lose every game. Cam Newton's there. Denver, Rob, was another rough one. And then Baltimore, they're covering with the back door. Igor had Vegas, Chicago, who didn't cover. Denver did not cover. Jacksonville lost. And Miami. Did Miami end up covering? I know they won.
I don't think Miami covered. I think they won by 7.
Okay, so it was a 10. And then we'll go through Rob's picks were Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, Miami, Baltimore, and Tampa. We should get into that Tampa game as well. And then Brandon had Green Bay, Indy, Denver, Atlanta, who continues to win.
Denver, man, my goodness. The one week I choose against my Bengals. You see exactly what happens. I've never been in them again.
That's what we need to do, though. You need to go against them every week for your team's sake. Keep winning.
That's what I'm going to do.
Guys, I want to start we'll recap, I guess, maybe even just one game. Let's talk about Tampa and how they laid an absolute egg last week. And, Rob, I know that you were on New Orleans last week with all the coaches that wrote, et cetera, and some of the players. And, this week they're starting the rookie from Notre Dame. But you guys surprised that New Orleans keeps, taking Tampa's lunch money and that, it's so convincing? When's the last time that Brady was shadowed, Igor? It must have been a long time.
I think it was like 2005. I think it was like 15 years ago. It had been a while. But like I said, it was a weird game because they actually, if you look at the stats, they beat the Saints in every statistical category. They just didn't score any points. A couple of picks that were – again, in one of those situations, especially in the NFL, once you got like Godwin going out, Fournette, you had Evans going out, when the game plan shifts and having to read shuffle during mid-game, it screws a lot of the stuff up. And, yeah, he didn't play well, but for some reason the Saints in the regular season, they own him since he's been in Tampa. So I think he's 0-3, and he's lost every game by at least a touchdown. So, I mean, last year they just whooped him in the regular season. He beat him in the playoffs. But last season I think it was like the same Sunday night, it was like a 45-7 romp or something like that. They really owned them. For whatever reason, the Saints, and they did it to Mr. Ivermectin in week 1. They just do well against the high-end quarterbacks. It's just, Rodgers got a 35-3 pasting, and Brady couldn't score any points. It's good on them. Their defensive strategies are against the top-end teams are quite good. I just don't know. What was that?
Igor loves bringing up Mr. Ivermectin. I don't know what he has.
No, I'm just saying. I'm giving the same credit because, if you say that Brady and Rodgers are the two best MVP candidates with Jonathan Taylor, the Saints did a number on both of them this year with a team that hasn't exactly been stellar against some of the worst opposition. So, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but, they somehow get amped to play those games and do well.
The great ones can shuffle around their lineups. I know Godwin goes out. I know Mike Evans is out. But if Mr. Ivermectin was there, I think he would still pull out the win or get some points on the board.
No, but
whereas Tom Brady did not.
I just told you it was 35-3 in week 1. What are you talking about?
First game, right?
Oh, of course, the rifle game. That's what we're blaming it on.
Well, don't you remember what happened in that game? Everybody thought if we had the show the week after, we're talking about, does he still have it? Does he want to play in Green Bay? Is he forcing his way out with bad play, right? Like, it's a different game. But Igor would never admit defeat. So, you know what? I'm not surprised, guys.
No, I keep telling you that Brady. Now, again, do I think, and then Brandon was a part of these shenanigans. Do I think that you should, week by week, change MVP standings over particular things? Not really. But, I mean, if Rodgers has a bad game against Cleveland and then he loses the first round bye, does that mean he's no longer the MVP? And no, he was MVP until week 16?
Possibly. But he's playing lights out right now. He's playing lights out. He's a rifle winner.
Again, Arizona's gone downhill. They had a bad loss against Detroit. Again, you're looking at those things. If it's a week-by-week of trophy, I don't know how much it really counts for much. It should be the whole encompassing season, right? Not a week-by-week trophy.
Yeah, and if we're going week-by-week, tied with the second best record in football is Patty Mahomes in Kansas City too, right? Who I think a lot of people kind of
where everyone was ready to
probably wrote off that one, right? Rob, any thoughts on that Tampa or Brady or Brandon? Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Rob.
There's got to be it's got to be schematic because they've played them 5 times and they've won 4, and the one time they lost, I think Tampa had like 4 or 5, or New Orleans had 4 or 5 turnovers, and they still almost won that playoff game. So Yeah, I don't really hold the first game against Green Bay. That's a throwaway game. You know that
They're
Aaron
playing
was like,
Florida too,
yeah, and Aaron didn't even know like he was going to play until like 2 weeks before the season. He
and
didn't
he
train.
didn't practice all. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
All training camp and no
So,
preseason.
but New Orleans, I think they're just a really well coached team. I took Tampa because I'm like, you know, no Sean Payton, COVID
coach.
finger there, and you know, it's just there's something about that matchup that just Tampa just struggles with that.
Yeah.
I would love to see Brady's record against as a Buccaneer versus New Orleans versus the rest of the league, because he's got to be at like 80% against the rest of the league, that not including New Orleans. If he's 1-4, I think, against New Orleans.
Well, he owns Atlanta all the
Yeah.
time too, right? So
Yeah,
Carolina.
The Saints just have a great front. You know, they have Cam Jordan, Davenport's played unbelievable. They have great DBs as well too. So that defense is just a problem. And they know schematically how to shut down, you know, Brady's first look, which is usually in the middle of the field to a tight end. So that's kind of cancel that out. Cameron Brate did not play well. Those weapons are not there. But hey, Tom Brady, you kind of saw without weapons, can't really put it on himself. You put Mr. Ivermectin in there, Igor, and it's a different story because Mr. Ivermectin will get it done regardless.
But you haven't seen that against top quality opposition.
No, I think he's saying like his career as well, right?
Well, I mean,
in his career.
So you're telling me that if you were to take away Devontae Adams, you were to take away Aaron Jones, and you were to, I don't even know, again, Alan Lazard, I guess, would be the third option. That Rodgers would have great games. I sincerely doubt it. I
think Matt LaFleur is a better play caller than oh my gosh, what's his name?
And we can
Byron Leftwich, right? And that's the reason why.
And we can go. I mean, Joey's like saying historically, but again, we've gone into this. Aaron Rodgers has always had great weapons his entire career. Whether it was Jordy Nelson, whether it was Greg Jennings, whether it was Devontae Adams, he's never been in a system where he's had terrible offensive. Even Randall Cobb, when he was younger, was a very good wide receiver. It's not like he's been like doing the most with scrubs his entire career.
No, people want to play with Aaron Rodgers.
Other than Devontae, who's the next best guy that he's had? Because Devontae's obviously
Jordy Nelson was incredible. Jordy Nelson in his prime was incredible. Greg Jennings was very, very good.
I think he had Donald Driver too for
Donald Driver. He's had weapons his entire career.
But I think the one thing is that Aaron is more mobile. So with less, then he's going to look. Aaron can do more with less, I think, than Tom will. Because Tom will rely on guys getting open and he can't scramble. So mobile quarterbacks will be able to do more with less. That's why Lamar looks so good. But if you were to give Lamar weapons, he doesn't look very good.
I go into, let's say, like Joey's Titans were the ones that pretty much ended Brady's career as a Patriot. That team was terrible offensively. They had nobody. Like that was the worst offensive weapons maybe in the league, and he got him into the playoffs. Now the D was pretty.
The D's been incredible.
D was pretty decent, but he had nothing. That was the worst wide receiver core. I think he was relying on Bird. I can't even remember some of the other guys that were there because they were so bad. Like N'Keal Harry has been nothing his entire career.
Sure.
He didn't have anything, and he still got him into the playoffs. And ended up losing to the Titans in the first round. But that team was terrible. That team should not have made the playoffs. It was that bad offensively.
I just like bringing up Mr. Ivermectin the Ego because it obviously grinds his gears when I say anything good about him. So
let's go. The show rolls on.
The show goes on. But shout out to all of us meeting on.
Hey, you know what? If he wins the MVP, good on him. I still think he should have been suspended 3 games, but that's a whole nother situation.
You would have suspended him for half the season, man.
No, not half the season. But again, the Antonio Brown thing, like it's 17,000 was something. Let's not get into that. Like he got less for lying about that than people get for wearing the wrong shoes. Think about that for a second.
Listen, okay.
People wearing the wrong cleats. $50,000 for that. But anyways, I'm done.
Listen, Aaron Rodgers, he's not done. He's not done. I know we had a conversation about this, and it's hilarious, but whatever. Mr. Ivermectin is going to be the MVP again. I believe so. Matt Stafford's played incredible with Cooper Kupp. Tom Brady's not going to get an MVP. It's just done. It's over. I get what you're saying. Jonathan Taylor's playing great too.
Yeah, no, he is. I was going to say one quick question for Igor, and if anybody else wants to chime in before we get into the weeks. Igor, obviously, I know that you have Tom Brady number 1. Number 2 for you, is it Peyton Manning or is it Mr. Ivermectin?
Well, here's the situation. I would have to give it to Peyton right now in a sense that, again, Aaron, Aaron's probably, again, I'll give him the his do that. He's a very talented quarterback. I don't take away from his what he's been able to do, but again, he has only made one Super Bowl. And again, he's almost in his 40s. Again, he's trying to see if he can make it into the second. He's 1-4 in NFC Championship games. So yeah, I think to get on even Manning's level, he's got to at least make it to a second Super Bowl. Again, we can make all these claims. Hasn't had the best defenses, all. Again, should have probably made it last year. Had a top 10 defense, didn't get it done in the playoffs. It is what it is. So until he gets back to another Super Bowl and at least gets himself another one, like it's hard to put him up with a guy that's gone to like, what was it? Brady on his 10th already. I think he's won six or seven. I lose damn count because he's been to so many. And yeah, I think Manning got there with Denver, and he was probably carried a little bit by the Denver defense. But a win's a win, and he lost to the situation with the Seahawks. So Manning went to what, 3?
At least 3, if not 4.
Yeah, so again, if you want to put him up with Manning, he's got to make it to the big games a little more.
I think what's interesting too is that Tom Brady. We always used to say, well, Tom Brady had the benefit of a dysfunctional division. Aaron Rodgers has a number 1 seed so quite often, and a first round. Chicago that's dysfunctional, Minnesota who plays it safe, and Detroit who is the ultimate dysfunctional team. So I think that the fact that we never hold that against Aaron is quite funny. When was the last time in division he had a great quarterback that he had to deal with? Never.
Other than Stafford, yeah.
Stafford,
Stafford.
You like that?
Yeah, like the best
I was
quarterback
going to say
he's
Brett
faced.
Favre for 1 year, and he wasn't even great. But when he took Minnesota to the playoffs, how long ago that was? Right?
He wasn't even around. He wasn't even around for Dante Culpepper and those Randy Moss years for the most part.
So I think it's just funny that Green Bay gets this, that he gets this pass of like his division is awful every year. He has a number 1 and number 2 seed every year. Like last year they had the number 1 overall seed. They had the bye all the way, and he still can't. There has to be some, but we all like Aaron, so that it doesn't get held against them like it does against Tom. Like Tom, we always said.
Tom's always had a great defense. I'm sorry, Igor.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, but okay. So you're saying Tom has it. So basically, Brady threw for 500 yards in that Super Bowl against the Eagles, and they lost the game. So you can't tell me he's always had a great defense. A Super Bowl record, 500 yards, and he lost the game to Nick Foles. 500 yards.
Game of football, man.
That's why I guess. See, Rob's the objective one. That's why me and Rob are cool, because Rob's the objective one. He knows.
Bill mailed in that Philly Super Bowl. He quit on that Super Bowl. So
Malcolm Butler didn't get to play. It was weird. Absolutely. Malcolm Butler didn't get to play. It was weird and whatever. But
he threw that game. That game was thrown by Bill Belichick. But let's get into another.
Let's get into it. Let me just say something.
On to the picks.
What did I say? It was very nice to see the boys out at St. Louis bar. Of course, some things happened after, but it was still good to see that and see the Spartan kick. Really eventful day. So shout out to you guys.
That was a big kick.
Yeah, that's a big kick, man.
Yeah, someone might have caught a case on that one. But okay, guys, let's get into Week 16. We'll start off with the Christmas Day games, and we're going to start off with Mr. Ivermectin. Green Bay is going to be at home at Lambeau, 7.5-point favorites against Cleveland's B squad. Probably looks like Myles Garrett is also not going to play. Green Bay still has the best record against the spread in football. Rob, we're going to start off with you. 7.5. Green Bay. Who do you like?
This was a really tough one. I really want to take Cleveland. A lot of the action is on Green Bay, but there's just so much uncertainty with the quarterback situation. I never thought I'd say this, but if Baker Mayfield is in and he's kind of healthy, I would lean towards Cleveland, but I can't accurately pick this game. I think it's a good spot for Cleveland, but I can't take it not knowing what's going on with the quarterback situation. And I believe Case Keenum is injured too now. So
yeah, it's Mullins.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going on with the quarterback situation. So if Baker's in and he's okay, I would take Cleveland.
Brandon.
Yeah, it's weird with this one because it's 7.5. I would definitely take Green Bay easily if it was 7 by itself. But Green Bay is kind of trending upwards. They're playing very well. Mr. Ivermectin is the MVP, the rightful MVP currently right now. This doesn't really mean anything. He still has to get to the Super Bowl, but they're just dialing. The defense is playing really well too. So I'm going to take Green Bay regardless. The 7.5. they didn't cover. But it's Nick Mullins, Nick Chubb. You got to stop Nick Chubb, and you're good. In good control of the game. So I'm taking Green Bay.
Yeah, I was going to say at Lambeau, I'm assuming there's probably going to be some cold weather, some snow like there is here. It's going to be a running game. Igor, who do you like?
Well, I'm going through the situation. So you're saying that Myles Garrett is out with
I heard it was a groin injury.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
so
he had a
he
groin.
so it's not Corona or anything.
No.
Not listed. Okay.
And if he is playing, he's
Seven
gonna
and
be
seven and a half. I think it's gonna be an interesting thing because they end up with the Lions at the end. So I think that'll be a given. So these next two games will be very interesting. They got the Minnesota. I think that's one they're probably looking forward to because the Vikings beat them earlier in the year. If Garrett's out, I think that, again, the pass rush is the bread and butter for Cleveland. I think Cleveland will be competitive. I'll take the Browns to probably lose the game by a touchdown. I mean, I'm going to be pulling for them to win because then the MVP stats get thrown up again. But I think Cleveland will lose, but lose by a touchdown.
I'm going to take Cleveland here. I think it's going to be a field goal game, to be honest. I think that Green Bay doesn't have too much to play for in terms of blowing them out. And even when we did get together 2 weeks ago now, everything went Green Bay's way. I just think that they're not going to cover. So I'm going to go with Cleveland here. Let's go to the Saturday night game, 8:15. Indianapolis Colts, probably the hottest team in football right now, taking on the Cardinals, who are on the other end of that roller coaster. They've been reeling as of late, coming off that tough loss to the Lions. I know we were chatting about that. Just a terrible game to watch. Brandon, let's go to you. 1 point.
Yeah, I think this is I'm surprised that there's Arizona's favorite after that dumpster fire of a game they had last week. Indianapolis is one of the 59% of the money is obviously on the Colts. I'm going to take the Colts to go into the warm environment and actually take this. So Jonathan Taylor, that offensive line, I think it's the best offensive line in the league. I don't know if Rob agrees with me. He loves Nelson, obviously. He's my favorite lineman in the entire league. Jonathan Taylor is playing really well. The defense is playing really well. You have, of course, Leonard playing unbelievable on both sides of the ball. Plus, they have a great special teams unit. So I'm going to take the Indianapolis Colts to win by a touchdown.
All right, Rob?
Probably a lock of the week.
Yeah, I agree with the O-line stuff for sure. I don't think Quentin Nelson's given up a sack since he's been there. He's been there like 2 years. Yeah, unbelievable. See, he should have been the first overall pick that year. He's so good. This line, something weird's going on with this line. Indy is hot. In Arizona is not. I hate Cliff Kingsbury. I think he is an awful coach. I think Arizona is a team that you fade towards the second half of the season. But in this spot, I am going to take Arizona. I think they're getting value here. This line is saying that Indy is the better team. Arizona's off two losses. Indy has won 5 of 6. I think it's a bit of a flat spot here. I'm going to take the Arizona Cardinals to win the game.
Igor.
I mean, again, it is a bit of a fishy line for sure. I think obviously, Arizona being at home and really needing the win. I think, I'm by what's been going on. I think the DeAndre Hopkins situation is a big miss for Kyler Murray. He's been looking off since he's been coming back. He had that one good game on the return, but they were really bad against Detroit. Again, it's hard for me to really say that they'll bounce back at home. I'll take Indy. I think Indy needs the game. Obviously, Joey's Tennessee Titans won yesterday, which I'm sure he's thrilled with. And probably pretty much clinch the division. So if they have any chance of reaching there, which I don't think they do because the Titans got Houston the last game of the season. But, they need the game. I think Taylor's running the ball really well. The Cardinals have a really good run defense, but a little bit susceptible against the pass. So it might be a bit of a Pittman game as well. I'll take the Indianapolis Colts to win the game.
Indeed. Okay, so I was looking at this line earlier. When I did my on Wednesday, I usually do a 12-gamer, and I had Indy on this because, as you guys know, Titans guy, but I have a lot of respect for Indy, and they just continue winning. But then I looked at it, and a few things. So Hopkins is probably out for the season. He might come back for the championship game if they get there. But they're just not the same team. But at home, they've been – I looked at the stats they showed them during the Detroit game, night and day. At home, they're a much better team. I'm just conflicted because I know that Arizona is very banged up. That being said, I did take Indy earlier. I'm going to swap, and I'm going to go to Arizona. I'm going to take Arizona on the -1 there and hope for the football gods to give me a pick. So I'm going to go Arizona -1. Moving on to Sunday. So Detroit Lions coming off a massive win, taking on Atlanta. 6.5 points for Atlanta. Igor, start it off.
Again, the Detroit Lions just keep plugging away, and of course, when they win, they also lose because now they don't have the first overall pick anymore going into the draft, which is I'm sure the Lions fans are thrilled by that. Again, I like the way that Atlanta's been playing. I think they're still somewhat in the hunt, and they need the game more than the Lions. I think the Lions probably don't want to mess up their draft position any more than they need to. I'll take Atlanta. I think Russell Gage is playing well. Patterson. I'll take the Falcons to win by a touchdown.
Brandon?
Oh boy, this is another tough one because a lot of people, I think, from what I've seen, are betting on the Lions, and I think I'm going to go with the Lions here. The Lions here to actually keep it, under a touchdown. Probably Atlanta Falcons probably win by a field goal, for instance. So I'll take the Detroit Lions.
And Rob?
So Goff out, Swift questionable.
All right.
Atlanta. This is a huge game for Atlanta. They're
All
motivated. Right. So Atlanta's got to win this game for the playoffs. Detroit has a ton of injuries, and they are traveling. And what I kind of like to do is I like to fade teams that have nothing to play for on the road in this kind of spot because, this is a game where they might mail it in. It might be a flat spot on the road. So I'll take Atlanta minus the 5.5. I think Atlanta rolls here.
All right, I have it at 6.5, but yeah, and Goff says highly unlikely to face the Falcons with COVID. So yeah, it looks like there's going to be a backup there. And yeah, Igor, I was going to say, even with the draft, I feel like this is not one of those years where there's a unanimous number one. I know there's a defensive end that's supposed to come in. I believe it's the guy from LSU, Brandon.
Thibodeau from Oregon.
Yeah, he's really good. But there's not like any franchise-saving quarterback that's going to come in. So I don't think that anybody's really jockeying for the number one pick specifically. Let's move on to the NFC East. So Giants in a dumpster fire taking on Philly, who escaped with a win against Washington on the Tuesday game. So Philly's at home -10, and Rob, will go back to you.
Yeah, this was a tough one because I really wanted to take the Giants here, really wanted to, but everything about this game screams Philly. I got them. This is a revenge spot. It's obviously a divisional game. They lost 13-7, I think 3 or 4
That was
weeks
that
ago.
3.5-point game that we circled where Brandon loved Philly. I remember probably about a month ago.
Yeah, and the Giants. The Giants have a ton of injuries. It's again another motivational spot for Philly in the playoff hunt. It's a lot of points for a divisional game. I would love to take the Giants. I think it's Philly or past here, and I hate saying that when it's minus double digits. So, but I'll take Philly.
All right, I'll put you down for Philly, Brandon.
Yeah, it's just tough because last time I took Philly too, and they just absolutely failed. So that's going to be, my luck there. But you know what? I'm going to go with Philadelphia. I think they're playing really well. They're spreading the ball around now and running the ball very effectively. So I'm gonna take the Philadelphia Eagles to cover here for 10 points. It's a lot of points though, but I'll give them that.
And Igor.
It's a tough one. I think again the Giants have already a foot out the door as well. New management's going to be coming in. Again, I think if they're still on Glennon as the quarterback, I think 10 points is a lot, but I think it is going to be a revenge spot for Hurts. I'll take the Philly to cover that because I just don't see much heart being in there for the Giants.
All right, so I'm by myself with this one. I'm going to go Giants. They haven't covered in a long time. And like this is one of those games. I talk about this every week. I feel like a lot of these teams carry the same line with them every week. I feel like Giants last week were 10-point dogs. Against Tampa on that primetime game, they were 10 or 11-point dogs. I just think that something's going to happen, maybe a turnover and a backdoor cover. So I'll go Giants with this one plus the 10. Igor, we're going to go to you. So Jets are at home -2. Now, this is, typically a game that's battling for that number one pick along with a few other teams. And a lot of us were on Jacksonville last week taking on Houston. They had a new coach. They look terrible against Houston. So Jets are at home -2. And I wanted to throw this in too. So they're going to take Seattle's number one round pick from that trade for the safety that I'm drawing a blank on. But, they're going to have 2 top 10 picks more than likely, right? So I'm not really sure that they have any incentive to really, lose this game and maybe just kind of build a record for their coach, who seems to be a decent coach. What do you like?
So what you're saying is we're not going to flex this onto the Sunday nighter, right?
Unless Rob is going to take a nap mid-show, I'll wake him up with that.
You know what? It's it's definitely not a game that I'd pay to watch. I think they're probably going to be handing these ones out in the surprise bags. Yeah. But at the end, I guess you go with the Jets with the situation that Trevor Lawrence has been awful. To me, actually, I'm circling this game for fantasy purposes because I think both teams will like running backs will probably run amok a little bit. So I'll take the Jets at home. I think they've been strong at home. You're only getting a point and a half, a field goal. Like I'll take the Jets to win it. I think Jacksonville is not doing much, and even with Meyer there, it's a lost season. I think you take the Jets because they have some pride at home, and then they'll pull it out. Zach Wilson actually has been pretty decent the last couple of games.
I guess he's been okay. And at least the Jets, I feel like they've done a better job of drafting. Their defense looks like it's coming together.
Yes.
They have some weapons as well.
When Josh Allen is out with COVID for the Jaguars, by the way.
Okay.
Oh, they're gonna say the Bills. Well, the Jets have
my buddy. So just wrote Josh Allen has COVID. I'm like, oh, it's the division's the Patriots now for sure. But it was the other Josh Allen. So he pulled a fast one on me.
This guy's very evil. Well, the Jets have like 30 people on the injured this game. So going with that notion, I rather watch like Temple. I'd rather watch Army college football rather than this game right now, to be honest with you. But I'm going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars to cover the points and actually win this game. I think in light of some moment of silence for Urban Meyer. In light of Urban Meyer, of course, they're going to come out swinging, and this is you circle this game. I know the Jacksonville Jaguars definitely come out and win this game.
But bet the house on the Jets.
Bet the house on
the Jets.
Yes.
I'd rather watch two family members argue about politics than watch this game. So forget
on Christmas.
On Christmas of all days too.
Yeah, I'm with Brandon though. Lots of injuries. Trevor Lawrence is better than Zach Wilson, I think, and a lot of the action's coming in on the Jets. And I just they're not a team that when a lot of the action comes in on, I feel confident. So this is definitely a spot where I'd take Jacksonville to win the game.
I'm going with the Bing Bong Boys. I got Jets and Giants again this week, and I'm hoping that it comes true. Going with both. I'm a lot more confident in the Jets than the Giants, but I'm going to double up on those. So I'm the only one here. You guys are riding with you guys are going down the ship with Urban Meyer for the season.
No. I took the Jets.
He took the Jets.
Oh, you did take the Jets.
Yeah.
I took the Jets.
You saved yourself a pick.
I want to be alone so bad. You're going to be the one guy that takes
I took the Jets.
Someone's on my side. We're going to go to you because Tom Brady's going to try and, the division's already wrapped up. But Tampa's at home. You're going against Battle of Ex-Patriots quarterbacks with Cam Newton here. So 10 points for Tampa, traveling division game going to Carolina. Is it a fishy for you? Should it be more?
That's an absolutely insane line. Should be more. No way. It should be way less. You got Godwin out. Evans is probably not going to play either. Fournette's not going to play. Levante David, who was one of their star linebackers, will be lucky to be back for the playoffs. They're decimated. There's no way I would take them by 10 points going into a division game, even if Cam Newton's absolutely terrible. To me, it's way too many points. There's no way. Like they're gonna. Antonio Brown comes back for whatever that might accomplish. That's way too many points. I'm Carolina's going to be in my 5. Absolutely. That's insanity with what's going on in Tampa.
Well, Carolina's been probably in form, the worst team in form, I would say, the last month or so. Yeah, right.
But again, division game, so many injuries, no chance I take Tampa.
Brandon.
That is true. I'm with Igor here. This is the one time I'm hammering the Carolina Panthers. They'll be my 5 as well too. That's way too many points. You already know Tom Brady cannot do too much without some of his weapons. So unfortunately, I just like getting this guy mad. No, I'm going to take Carolina in this game with 10 points for sure.
Rob?
Everybody's confidence is making me very worried that I'm on the wrong side here.
67% on Tampa on the score app. I just pulled it up. So.
I also have Carolina. I think Tampa Bay is not as good on the road. They have too many injuries. It is a revenge spot for Carolina as Tampa Bay. I think they won by like 30 last time they played. And it is Carolina's last home game. So they might want to – there might be some motivation there to play really well for the home crowd.
I'm back.
Yeah. 10,000 people in attendance. Let's go to the Chargers. So Herbert and the boys taking on Texans, another team that's a 10 to 14-point dog every week. Chargers have not done so well covering the spread, so I'll lead it off. I'm going to jump on the Chargers. They're minus the 10.5, and I will throw to Rob.
Chargers. Yeah, I'm staying away from this game. I wanted to fade the Chargers this week after I believe they won last week against did they win last week? I believe they won last week, so I wanted to fade them. I don't trust the Chargers very much. but there ain't no way I'm betting on Houston.
Chargers lost.
Chargers coming off
KC.
extra rest, right? That Thursday overtime loss.
KC, 38.
Oh, the
34,
Chiefs,
28.
right. Yeah, that's right.
Houston's coming off a win.
Yeah, this is for it, just in terms of spot, I guess, but I don't feel confident. I think there's something going on with the Chargers. I would pass this game, but I'm not betting on Houston either. So if you had a gun to my head, I'd probably take the Chargers here.
Guns to your head for this pick, and I'm putting you down for the Chargers. Igor, take it away.
I'm a tad bit concerned with Eckler on the Rona list. I think he does a lot for that offense. So if he doesn't play, I probably lean the Texans. I know it's only one person, but I think he does a lot in that backfield. I'm gonna stick with the Chargers, and I think they'll pull it out. But I'm definitely not confident in that pick for sure.
All right, Chargers again, and Brandon.
Yeah, 72% of the money is on the Chargers. That's way too much. I'm channeling my inner Rob here. I'm gonna fade that pick, but I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the Houston. I think Austin Mills Mafia played very well last week. They're at home now. It's gonna be. This is their Super Bowl. This is the Super Bowl, and the Chargers are decimated by COVID, by injuries. Well, not decimated by injuries, but by COVID for sure. So I'm going to take the Houston Texans to take out plus the 10
Brandon's
points.
talking like Houston Stadium is some kind of fortress like Lambeau. They're at home. They got all the fans there for it on Christmas. Like,
I got like Tyrod Taylor. Why isn't Tyrod Taylor playing? I would.
He had a bad stretch. That's what it was.
I would take Houston if Tyrod was. I like Tyrod, but that's me.
I love him. He was killing at the beginning. He had a few rough games, and then went to the backup.
Yeah.
Igor, we're gonna go to you. So, Patriots at home. Maybe a revenge game for Buffalo. 2.5 points. Obviously going to seal the division if the Pats can pull this off. So 2.5 point game. You got to know that McDermott and those guys going to be really pissed off, and all those guys in the second year, the linebackers got interviewed about that question if they were embarrassed. So assuming it's not going to be the same type of weather, and I'm assuming you got the Patriots by 2.5.
I think, well, again, it does help in a situation where even if the Pats, again, obviously it's a big game because again it would be tied on the records and so forth. I think the extra rest is gonna help the Patriots a little bit in that sense because they played earlier. Again, the Bills are gonna go in there for revenge for sure. I think the Pats knowingly, are gonna do kind of what they did in the last game. So the Bills' run defense was horrific in that ugly weather game. That's been their issue, and the Pats love to run the ball down their throats, and I think that they'll do a lot of that. Plus, to get a little bit of Mac in there. I'm gonna take the Patriots to pull the 2 over and pretty much finish off the division. So,
Wow.
I think that Bills' run defense was just so bad. I am a little concerned that the Patriots running backs are a little banged up, but for whatever reason, like even that game where they just ran it down their throats, the Bills knew what was coming. They still couldn't stop them. So. Yeah, I'm comfortable taking the Pats at home by the 2 points, 2.5.
Your comfortability.
Oh, Patriots.
Your
Come on.
Making me uncomfortable. I think that McDermott, the guys are going to really slam the box and force force the quarterback to make some throws.
He said slam the box. Hilarious. Keep going.
All right, Buffalo plus 2.5. Brandon.
Yeah, so literally every single one of the New England Patriots running backs are on the injury list, right? Ramondre Stevenson's out with the illness. David Harris is questionable with a hamstring injury. So really, you're looking at Brandon Bolden. He's even questionable too, along with James White. That's 4 running backs. So don't really know where the running game is going to be come this game. And hey, the Bills are playing well. Devin Singletary, I know it's because of fantasy, had 22 rushes, 86 yards, but a touchdown. Played very well last week, even though it's under 100 yards. They're getting their running game going. The O-line's playing a lot better. That defense is playing a lot better when it comes to stopping the run. So I know I'm going to take Buffalo Bills, slam the box, 2.5 points.
Slam the box. We got to get T-shirts printed now. Slam the box.
Circle the wagon, slam the box. That's what the Buffalo Bills do.
Mm-hmm.
Rob, are you slamming the box with Buffalo?
I am. The only thing, I saw the New England injury list. The only thing I worry about with New England and their injury list is I don't trust Bill. Bill likes to throw a bunch of guys on the injury list. So
that is true.
Yeah, who knows what that guy's doing. This is the game where, a few weeks ago, it was my, of course, game because I didn't know, I could make compelling sides for both. This should be the Sunday night game. I don't know why they haven't, why they didn't flex this, and we got to watch, Dallas and Washington, which is.
Well, it was already the Monday nighter, right? So they weren't going to do that again, right?
Oh, I mean, why not? It's the best. It's the best game of the week for me.
Yeah.
The line is super fishy.
What would it be though? 3.5?
Yeah, I thought Buffalo would be kind of a slight favorite here, but they are.
Can't do
They're,
that.
Can't do that.
I think so. I think Buffalo's got a higher ceiling than New England, but New England's a really good team. Like they're really they're both really good teams. I'll go with Buffalo here.
Is Buffalo really a good team? I know you're going Buffalo, but is Buffalo really a good team? Like their record, I think they're a game or two above 500.
They have
half their schedule against Jacksonville.
Listen, Joey, they almost beat your team by 1 yard. Okay, they almost just 1 yard they needed. Okay, so they are a good team.
No, I know, but at that point, everybody was a good team. That was when they were winning 40-0 against Houston, right? And then things changed.
I just think they have the highest ceiling of all the AFC teams.
Really?
I mean,
that's big. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, well, I get the injury to the cornerback really hurts the defense, but yeah, I mean, they've had some battle. I mean, they probably should have. They came back against Tampa. They got destroyed by Indy that 41-15. They lost to Jacksonville. I don't know. It really depends. It's like a Jekyll and Hyde situation with them most of the time. So you just never know what you're gonna get on a week-to-week basis.
That is 100% agreed with that.
So everybody except Igor on Buffalo, correct?
Yeah.
Circle this game.
Circle the wagon.
I think Buffalo's going to take this one. It's going to be a good Boxing Day game. So LA Rams -3.5. I was going to send you guys a screenshot. Odell last game on Tuesday had 1 catch for 7 yards. So back to his usual stuff. They're going to need him this week against Minnesota. So Rams traveling to mini 3.5-point favorites. Cooper Kupp just put on an absolute clinic last week. And believe Stafford's back for this one. I know that he's banged up, and I think he was on the COVID list as well. But I'll make my pick, and I'm going to take the Rams at -3.5. Dalvin Cook also going to be out for Minnesota. I know their backup's good, but when Dalvin's in there, just a different aura there. Igor.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think this is a perfect game for the Rams. The Minnesota passing D isn't very good. Stafford got some confidence last week. Had a pretty decent game. I think they're going to start rolling a little bit. I think Alexander Mattison is actually like probably the best backup in the league. So I don't think it'll be a huge drop off from Dalvin Cook, but it's one of those games where I think Kirk Cousins is not going to have a great game against that defense that's really starting to come along. So yeah, I'll take the Rams to win by a touchdown.
Rob.
Kirk Cousins is on the injured list as well, so we don't know if he's going to be 100%. Really fishy line. I'll take the Rams here, but I wouldn't be surprised if Minnesota upsets them. It's really small spread, I think. And I'm not a big fan of picking against short home dogs, but I'll take the Rams here to win this game.
With an Arizona loss and a Rams win, the Rams take first place in this division. Both teams at 10-4 right now, so there is a tie. Brandon, who do you got?
Okay, back to your OBJ comment. To be honest with you, that post route that he threw the Cooper Kupp for his second touchdown, that was actually supposed to, it could have went to OBJ, but they're both in the same area, so he could have had more. I just think that there's so many weapons there, and he's not really Stafford's number one guy, so we can't really hold that against a receiver. But that's just me, and I'm not. He's not any quarterback number one guy apparently, right? Exactly. No, with that being said, I'm gonna take the Rams to win by a touchdown as well, just like Igor. I think they're gonna have a good game, and they're trending in the right direction. So, I see that defense playing a lot better, and the Rams, getting this game. They need a good away win for sure.
Yeah. Brandon, do you have your Van Jefferson jersey?
Yeah, I'm definitely get one. That guy saved me a lot, but I lost last week by a few points.
That guy cost me the playoff spot. That bum.
Yeah, I was in the semis. I was in the quarters and I lost. So screw it. So mad.
Rob, you had the Rams?
Yeah.
But you had the Rams. You said Minnesota could win, so you're kind of double dipping.
Yeah. No, I'm saying this line is so fishy that if Minnesota wins, I'd be like, okay, I get it.
We talk about it every week, right? Like Minnesota's games usually come down to a field goal on one side or the other every week, right? But yeah, okay. So we're all four of us here have the Rams. Brandon, Cincy is at home. Oh, go ahead, finish up.
I was just gonna say 1 point I have to point out. It's a 1 o'clock game, and Kirk Cousins' favorite time to play is 1 o'clock because no one's looking. And this is that's all I want to say. Just look back, circle this game, circle the wagons.
Remember that one? I sent you guys the clip in the group. There was Kirk Cousins threw a ball. It was like a punt. He threw it to like center field, and there was someone just waiting there, just catching the ball like this. Yeah. And the announcers were wondering what the hell happened. I've never.
I was watching. I was watching the game. He threw. He premeditated. As a quarterback, you kind of like he premeditates a lot of his picks. You always know. Like I just don't like Kirk
He
Cousins
didn't
at
throw
all.
too many either, but that was wild. I saw that.
Yeah,
one.
that was nuts. That was nuts. Yeah.
All
So
right.
this is a really
Brandon, Cincy -3. Are you going against your guy just to be reverse psychology to get the win? What are you doing? Are you going to sacrifice a pick?
Listen, man. I obviously don't like these guys, and I'm kind of done with them all year. I think I've already said this a few times. I'm never choosing them. I'm going to stick to what I said. I'm not choosing them again. I'm taking taking Tyler Huntley. I'm taking that team. Throwing balls last week against Mr. Ivan Mecton. I'm going to take them again. Baltimore Ravens. Hammer the Ravens. Right here, I'm taking them plus 3.5 points.
Empty the account. Igor, who do you got?
No, I got Brandon's Bengals. They smashed them 41-17 in Baltimore.
That's a long time ago.
Baltimore's busted up all over the place. It's a big game at home for the Bengals. They can pretty much almost cinch up the division. Give me the Bengals all day. Like it's Brandon just doesn't have faith in his team because every time he bets on him, they lose. But yeah, no, everything says bet for the Bengals here because again, Huntley did great. It was also a home game. It's a different animal when you're on the road against a team that's really hungry and trying to win that division. And again, they smashed them when a lot of the Raven parts were still healthy. Now the Ravens are decimated even more than they were even before then. Give me the Bengals all day.
Rob?
Baltimore's similar to Minnesota. Like everything went wrong for Minnesota. They have all these injuries, all in this, and yet I can see them covering. Baltimore the last 2 weeks have covered in unprecedented circumstances when they shouldn't, and I've bet against them on both weeks. That's why with the NFL, you just really never know. This game screams Cincinnati, but given the fact that Baltimore has done all this like backdoor covering, like garbage bullshit, Burrow and Joe Mixon are both injured. Burrow has a bad finger. I don't know if that's on his throwing hand, his non-throwing hand. So I'll go with Baltimore here, but I wouldn't be surprised if Cincinnati covers then, and then I'm 0 for 3 of Baltimore the last 3 weeks.
And Jamar Chase made the Pro Bowl, right? Want to make that announcement?
I think so.
Yeah.
Over Matt Stafford. I was just gonna say, like Tyler Huntley has a better arm than Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson played terrible against the Cincinnati Bengals when they played at the bank. So he just has a way better arm. He's controlling the offense. He knows how to get the guys the ball, and Harbaugh has some confidence in them. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens actually covered this game and won, honestly.
I'm going to go with Cincy. Cincy had lost their last 2 at home. I didn't know it was that damn funny. But anyways, lost their last
it was because he just didn't like Brandon did all these, and it was just so nonchalant.
Oh, there was the thing with Rob where I don't know what to do.
Say all these things about Tyler Huntley.
I don't know what to do with that.
I'm going with Cincy.
So they're coming off. They won last week against the Broncos, but the 2 home games, the Chargers won. They got slaughtered when they were down early, and then the 49ers lost by a field goal. Last home win was a division game where they demolished the Steelers 41-10. So I'm looking for Cincy to continue to do well in this division. Both teams are 8-6 right now, and Brandon, you might have a division champion team here, but let's not jinx that.
Let's not jinx that, man. Something like that. And Tyler Huntley played well against the Browns as well too, and that was in Cleveland, right? So he does show up, right? Definitely.
I better not hear no celebrating in here if they win the division crown, considering you were done with them about half a dozen times.
We need a live
I'm just done betting
popping champagne when that happens.
I'm just done betting on them. I'm never gonna bet on them again. I've lost over $50 in the past 2 weeks on them, so I'm just not gonna do it. So I'm gonna go with Baltimore.
Now it's the betting. Okay.
Yeah, it's the betting, man. That's what
the
it is.
Almighty dollar. All right, let's move on to Russell Wilson. Team's obviously in shambles, coming off another loss, 20-10. 6.5 point favorites to Chicago. I'll lead it off first. I've been riding with Chicago for a while now, just in terms of against the spread, because they've been so bad. They've at least lost 2 in a row against the spread. That Monday or Tuesday game, and the previous one we were together on the Sunday night, where everything broke in their opposite direction to get that. Seattle I don't know, their defense is, I think, a little bit better than average. Their offense is absolutely terrible. Their wideouts continue to, rack up stats. But obviously Russell Wilson, just the finger, he's not throwing the ball the same way. I'm going to go first and take Chicago plus the 6.5. And Rob, what do you?
This is why you wait till Sunday morning or Saturday, unless you get a chance to bet. You don't know what's going on with the quarterback situation. And I believe Andy Dalton's injured, and I believe Justin Fields is injured. this could be Nick Foles. And if Nick Foles plays, this is way too many points. 6.5 is a lot for a bad Seattle team. If Nick Foles is in, give me Chicago plus the 6.5.
All right, Brandon.
Yeah, Justin Fields is out with an ankle injury. Matt Nagy is just a terrible play caller. It was actually like painful watching him play against the Minnesota Vikings. So I'm going to go with Seahawks at home. Terrible season. They have to kind of rally their crowd. They have to kind of get this going. I'm going to take Seahawks. And Quandre Diggs is the best free safety in the NFL. I totally agree. He's done a great job this year.
Their defense in general has just been, like I always say, like it's tough when you look at the stats for a defense like that. It's tough to look at those numbers because their offense is just off the field so often that their defense has to play the entire game. And I think that, to me, like just in terms of the actual personnel, they're like a top 5 defense. Just they can't move the ball whatsoever. So Brandon's going with the
Seahawks.
Chicago. Oh, Seahawks.
Yeah, I took Seahawks.
Rob, you have
Yeah.
Chicago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Igor.
Well, I have a buddy that's basically made a living off of betting against the Chicago Bears because he's a fan and he's made a fortune. So my lock of the week is going to be the Seattle Seahawks to win by a touchdown because the Bears away from Soldier Field are just not very good. I just don't like Matt Nagy's play calling. Seattle, a bad team, but at the end of the day, I think they still have a lot of pride at home. It's always that home crowd advantage is always pumping. I'll take the Seahawks to cover by a touchdown. I think it's going to be a bad game for the Bears.
Igor, you said Chicago's bad away from home.
Well,
Yeah,
better away from Soldier.
Yeah, are you insinuating that they're pretty good at home? Because they are bad. I think I don't care where they play. They're bad, man.
So I mean, they so far they've beaten the Bengals at home. They beat Vegas. They beat Vegas in Vegas. They beat Detroit. And then they've pretty much been on a slide ever since. They won at Detroit, but yeah, I don't know. I don't trust Matt Nagy away from home. I think the Seattle crowd will get into it. I think Russell will have a good game. I think 7 points is a nice number there. I'll take it.
All right. We got 4 games left, guys. Just because we're short for time, no breakdown. Just give me a pick on them. Denver's taking on Vegas. It's a pick 'em. I'll go first. I like Denver. Rob?
Because they had no Pro Bowlers, which was unfair by the Broncos, and I think they have a really good roster. I'll take the Broncos as well.
Brandon?
I'll take the Broncos as well.
And Igor?
Yeah, Broncos 1.5. I think they're just better.
Wow, nice. I thought we'd have some Vegas guys. All right, and Pittsburgh taking on KC. That's another 4:00 game. Kansas City minus the 10. And I can't believe I'm doing this, guys. I'm taking the Steelers plus 10 points. Igor?
Wow.
So I have it here as 8.5. But you're saying 10, right?
10 points now.
Oh boy.
I have it at 10, yeah. So I'll check. Maybe someone's out, but the live line right now is at Ben is questionable. Oh, Tyreek and Kelsey.
Tyreek is out. Yeah, they're both questionable.
List.
Yeah, so there's that's another one that's way too many points. Like if both of those guys can't play, that offense is decimated. Give me the Steelers if that's the case.
I'm assuming one of them will probably go.
Actually, I heard that they might move this game to Tuesday though, so that might be a different situation because I heard that might be a Tuesday game because there's so many of them on the list. So that's the case, and then we got to rehash that. But yeah, if they play on the game they're supposed to, Steelers. Screw
COVID, man. Screw COVID. That's what I say. Screw COVID. But yeah, I'll just say take the Steelers if it's plus 10 happen. If it's plus 10. But if they play on Tuesday, I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs, of course, because Tyreek's not playing because he's on the COVID list. As well. And Kelsey.
Chris Jones out too, I believe.
Chris Jones is in. I've heard he's in.
Oh, really? I've heard he was out.
Yeah, I was listening to a radio show yesterday. They said that he will play.
Yeah, this is weird because I don't think the spread should have been 10.5. I don't know why they hung this line, but they were going to get action on Pittsburgh. So I think I think this is a trap game. I think they're screaming to take Pittsburgh here. So I'll also take Pittsburgh, but I think KC. I think KC's the right side here.
23 hours ago, Chris Jones clears COVID protocol, so he is playing.
Okay, I have him as out, but.
All right, so we're all 4 of us there on Pittsburgh. Sunday nighter, terrible Sunday nighter. Washington, walking wounded at Dallas, 10.5 for Dallas. Just because Dallas has been so good against the spread, I'm going to fade them in this one, and I'm going to go Washington plus the 10.5. Igor, let's go to you. Cowboys?
No, how about them Cowboys now?
Cowboys.
No, Heineke's back off the COVID list. I think they'll be much better. Give me Washington in the cover.
Washington, okay. Rob?
Too many points. So yeah, Washington as well.
And Brandon?
Definitely Washington as well, for sure.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
Yeah.
both of us taking the 10 points for the last two games. And then Monday Nighter, if you guys want to give a sentence or two. So it was New Orleans minus the 3, but they're now going to, I guess, their third string quarterback now. I don't remember the Notre Dame quarterback, Ian Book.
Ian Book, yeah.
Ian Book, who they did draft. And they were 3.5-point favorites before they announced he was starting. It's now swung to Miami minus 1.5. Rare time that New Orleans is, I guess, a home dog out of division, especially. So I'll make my pick first. I'm going to go New Orleans. I think they're going to win this game, although Miami has been on absolute fire recently. A primetime game in New Orleans, that's one of those stadiums, unlike the Houston Texans that Brandon was alluding to, where like the stadium should be rocking. So I'm going to go with the Saints there. Brandon, who do you got?
That day, Saints defense is unbelievable, but I'm going to go with Miami to win this game just because Ian Book is very inexperienced.
Yeah. I want to see how he's going to do because I think he was a 3rd or 4th round pick and he was, one of the better Notre Dame quarterbacks. I know they've all been pretty good, none of them in the NFL, but I'm interested to see how he does. Igor.
Yeah, you can book it. The Dolphins will win and cover.
This could be one of my 5.
And Rob.
When I did this handicap, Miami was +3, and I loved Miami at +3 because all 3 quarterbacks were hurt for New Orleans. But New Orleans off a big win. Armstead, Ramczyk out. Miami's been out playing people. And Sean Payton, we don't know if he's been at practice, what he's doing because he was on the COVID list. I loved Miami here. The one thing, my one caveat is with a rookie quarterback that we have no tape on, they sometimes have really good first and second games. Yeah, that's the one thing that I'm a little worried about. But I still had it at +3, so I loved Miami at +3 at -2.5. I don't love it as much, but I still like Miami.
And I think with having Kamara, you're going to get a good dose of him, and I think that they're really going to just kind of build off that. Brandon, did you have Miami? Yeah, right?
I took Miami, yeah.
Okay, so we're split on this one, half and half. All right, boys, time for the 5 and then also the lock. So I'm not whoever's ready, maybe take 30 seconds. We'll do our picks and then come back.
Ready? So, okay, I guess I'll start off if you want.
All right, go ahead, yeah.
So I'll take the Bengals and the 3. And I'll take the Rams, the Panthers, the Seahawks, and the Dolphins.
So Igor has Cincy -3, Rams -3.5, Carolina +10, Seattle -6.5, and then Miami -1.5. Anybody else ready to go?
I'll go. I got Pittsburgh, Miami, Carolina, Atlanta, and Arizona.
Arizona -1, Pittsburgh +10, Miami -1.5, Carolina +10, Arizona -6.5. I know, Rob, you said you thought it was 5.5, but we have here at 6.5. Brandon.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Colts. Colts for sure. Atlanta Falcons. Carolina Panthers. Rams. And I'm going to take, lastly, I'll take the Green Bay Packers at home.
The Bengals.
Oh, sorry. I was going to take the Ravens. Is that over 5?
You have Indy, Carolina, Atlanta, Rams, and Green Bay.
I'll just stick with Green Bay. I really want to take the Baltimore Ravens just because. I really do. But I just think it's too risky. I think it's too risky. I think that the Bengals will win. But that's something I really want to take. So put that as my honorary.
I'm kind of just stuck on my last one there. First one's going to be Cleveland +7.5. I'm going to go New York Jets -2. I'm going to take New Orleans as a home dog plus the 1.5. I'm going to take Denver on the pick'em. And then my last game, I'm kind of torn on here, but I will go with, since I already wrote it down, Washington +10.5. Okay. Let's go with our locks, Igor.
Yeah, I'm sticking to the Seahawks. I'm betting against Matt Nagy and the Bears. I'm sticking to the 6.5 for the Seahawks to have a solid game. Tyler Lockett's back. I'll take the 7 points.
Brandon,
I'll take the Falcons. Falcons at home, going against the Jared Goff-less Lions, which literally are not better than the Alabama Crimson Tide. So I'm gonna go with that in the Falcons for sure as my lock.
Atlanta 6.5. Rob.
I'll go with Miami.
Miami
There you go.
minus 1.5. Guys, I'm gonna go big bong. I'm gonna go New York Jets minus the 2.
God.
Wow. God.
The
You have the
Jets,
ugliest
the
locks.
Jets, baby.
Historically,
Oh my
it's
God.
literally
He's
the
broken in
ugliest
half.
locks.
He's broken.
That's hilarious. I
got the
historically,
division
you're
all
the
wrapped
ugliest.
up. Give me the Jets.
Wow. Bing bong.
Well, I mean,
Wow.
if there was a time to ever take the Jets, at home to the
It's
Jacksonville
against Jacksonville,
Jaguars,
right?
yeah,
Like,
that
come
would
on.
probably be the
You guys
spot.
make it seem like they're playing
I'll
the
give you,
Packers.
I'll give you that one.
Cut
Do
me
we
some
have-
slack, boys.
When was the last time the Jets were favored in any game? Do we have a stat on that? Like this gotta be
2001.
years. Yeah, right. Like
I was gonna say it has to
2001.
be against maybe Jack. It was probably against.
I know. They played. Did they play Houston earlier? Pretty sure they played Houston. Yeah, they
did
played
play
Houston.
Houston.
I was at Houston, and I swear that they might have been favored there. I'll double check here. What week was that? That was.
I think Houston was.
I want to
No,
say they
you're
were
right.
favorites at some point this year too. I feel like they were
I
probably.
remember the 18th.
I feel like they beat
Yeah.
the Jets this year too. Well, I know that they beat the Titans and the Bengals dogs in both those games. As Brandon doesn't like to hear it, but we have to do that every show.
This is true.
All right.
Yeah, but no, okay. So locks of the week, I'm going Jets minus the 2. Brandon has Atlanta minus 6.5. Igor has the Dolphins Rob has the Dolphins minus 1.5, and Igor has Seattle 6.5. I'll swap those around. They should put in the wrong order.
Actually, no, the Texans were favored. The Jets covered the +3, so yeah, they weren't favored.
That's probably when Tyrod was still playing too. So
Yeah.
that makes some sense. Minus the 1.5. All right, boys. So that wraps up week 16. We got 2 weeks left, and let's finish strong. Let's try and nail these locks of the week.
Man.
And
Hey, if someone goes
everybody
5,
celebrated.
Merry Christmas. If someone goes 5-0, we're gonna get wings again. I'm joking. We'll wait. We'll
Virtual
We
probably-
have to switch it up. We're not going to do wings because Rob's been disappointed with every wing spot we go to. We might have to do a burger,
Yeah,
burger,
it's a
maybe
burger
a
spot.
steak or something like that.
we just
But,
gotta find a good wing joint. If anybody's got a wing joint, throw it out.
Yeah, send it in
No
the DM
fights.
to wing joint. That's going to be
No,
the clip
yeah,
of the week.
no sport, no
That's going to be
sport.
the clip of the week. If you have a good wing joint, send it to us because we need to hit it.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, no fights. No fights.
No fights.
Last
Sparring
second thoughts
kicks.
on the week before we wrap it up. Anybody?
Yeah, it'll be an entertaining week. I'm looking forward to that Patriots game. It's pretty much it's gonna be another test to see how good they are. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, some good Saturday games. Like once Christmas.
I'm
is
happy
pretty
about the
much,
Saturday games.
yeah, once Christmas is pretty much wrapped up, it'll be nice just to watch some football and relax and enjoy the rest of the day. I'm looking forward to it.
Nothing better than watching Mr. Ivermectin on Christmas, eh? You are 100%.
Nothing better than watching them lose, Rob.
To the Browns.
Not happening. Not happening. No.
Hey,
Really great.
Any given Sunday. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to Rodgers kind of boosting his MVP status. He's been playing lights out. Looking forward to seeing the Bengals kind of wrap up that division. Hopefully do something there, but I do see the Baltimore Ravens come in and win that game.
This is when Bangle jinxes him and he gets destroyed by Myles Garrett and then he's done for the year. Watch.
Hey, Myles Garrett's out with a groin injury, so
Yeah.
he's lucky this week.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, ivermectin. Sorry, whatever.
I want to give a shout out to my guys who had a big win. I wrote them off. I'm not gonna lie, I wrote them off.
Where's
But
Where's that?
the hat, Rob's doing the face palm right now, double face palm. But we're going to Super Bowl, baby.
They are in the Super Bowl. It'll be the first Super Bowl I don't watch.
Oh
I'm
wow.
saying it.
Yeah, but if Henry comes back, that'll be good to watch. Why not?
He's gonna come back, yeah.
Yeah, if they make it with Henry in there, that'll be entertaining. AJ Brown was great.
Fitzpatrick. AJ Brown has been an
Shout out to
absolute.
AJ Brown. He was great.
Jones is done. His career's over. I think he needs to retire soon. But yeah, Fitzpatrick. I always call him Fitzpatrick. Tannehill is going to be the worst quarterback to get to a Super Bowl in a long damn time because he's absolutely terrible. I'd rather have Fitzpatrick.
He's better than Rex.
The Titans are literally the coach's son. So it doesn't matter what happens. They're never going to get there. And they're the most uninteresting good team I've ever seen.
Mhm.
Titans are like the most uninteresting good team I've ever seen.
Oh, that's not true.
Yeah, no, I think
Henry
he's
with
pretty
Henry
accurate.
at running back, the defense is playing a lot better. They were rough to begin the year, but they're pretty decent to watch. I was entertained by the game.
Really.
That San
Wow.
Francisco defense. That San Francisco that team is pretty good. It was a good win for the AFC in terms of against the NFC. That was a pretty entertaining game.
Parts on Jimmy. Got him picked up by Hooker.
I
Classic.
have two I have two friends on this podcast.
start,
I'm trying to
Jimmy.
not be friends anymore after those comments that were made. But,
I'm
Merry
joking,
Christmas to
man.
everybody.
Merry Christmas, man.
Appreciate the love.
Okay.
And we'll see you guys next week. Take care.